Alright, welcome everyone to, hopefully we can hear me properly. I just had to fix around with some of my sound settings. Round 2 of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Car Championship. We are in the very scenic Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Don't count me on that. Spud will be the very very person who can kind of pronounce those a lot better than I can. And speaking of Spud, he's joined by me in the com box as always. How you going, mate?
I'm doing great, DJ. That was, I think we've had so many attempts of trying to pronounce the track, but I think that was your best one, actually. I think that was your best pronunciation of the track, so good on you.
Yeah.
Yes, but out of all the attempts we've done, you've done it perfectly. But yes, we are here for round 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship for round 2 at the Autodromo Nazionale de Monza, and located west of Italy, just the north of the sea, of the Mediterranean Sea. As we get ourselves qualifying underway, it's going to be 5-minute dash, DJ. So we've got two 5-minute qualifying sessions. Obviously, the first one to determine the grid for race 1, and then the second qualifying to determine the second race here this evening.
Yeah, obviously we did have a bit of an issue last week when we had not being able to set grids and stuff like that, and then we kind of ran the grid how it was set last week, and then we changed it up for TS2, and then it didn't work, and then we changed it for main series and it worked, and we kind of talked during the week and stuff like that, and we're like, nah, we'll just change the whole format and we'll just run a shorter qualifying for each race. So we're running 5-minute qualifying sessions for all series, so TS3, TS2 and main series. So every category. Oh Jesus Christ, Kamaria kid, mate, you distracted me, mate. Yeah, so all categories have a 5-minute qualifying session before each race. It's going to be like that across the board, except for obviously the special events such as Bathurst and Daytona. They only have their own special qualifying. But yeah, I think personally for me, I think that's probably the best outcome that we can, because if you say you qualify bad in the first race, you can try and fix up your qualifying for the second one, and the grid can be up and down any which way. So I think it might be best for all of us in that regard, personally.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think in a way that it'll get people to get themselves ready, that if they don't do well in that first qualifying, then they know that they can just try and do it again for qualifying 2. But here we go, the first flying lap that has come through by Flyboarding, representing Robosport Racing. The circuit starts with a long run from the start-finish line to the very end of the Rettifilio turns 1 and 2. So trying to get that traction down as quickly as you can, and then a slow right-left chicane, which leads directly to the Curva Grande, which is here, coming through turns 3. And then we go down into the next chicane here at Monza. We've got the Variante della Roggia. It's very tricky with the shadows covering over the banner up there, and it's always hard to find your braking zone. But then coming through the first Lesmo, turns 4 and 5. Coming through, as Flyboarding's just got a little bit sideways there, a little bit of snap oversteer. He's got himself a bit of meat and cheese pie right behind him, so I don't know if Flyboarding ordered any meat and cheese pies for this race this evening. But coming down to the Curva de Sella Regelio, coming into Ascari, so that part is just before the bridge, and Ascari it's a little bit of a traction heavy zone, DJ, so it's very important to try and get that car hooked around that. And Meat and Cheese Pie is going to get himself a really nice tow. Hopefully Flyboarding might pull out of the side just to let him go through, maybe, but we'll wait and see. And then coming through to Curva Parabolica to set up your run for the line, and just trying to get your best lap out of it all. In Formula 1 they use DRSs, but in touring cars there's no such thing as a DRS, so it's all about the straight line and all about using the slipstream. But so far, Meat and Cheese Pie is the fastest with a 1:41. It's not the fastest time, but he will try again the next lap going by.
Yeah, and as we just cross a minute 20, these guys will probably have what I'd say the last lap. So being 5 minutes qualifying sessions, it's a lot different now. You're going to really have to put your head down and get your qualifying laps in quick, smart, as they'd say. But being a 1 minute 40 lap, that kind of gives you realistically 2 flyers, so a out lap and 2 flyers, which kind of keeps the tyres fresh and stuff like that. They did do a bit of an update during the week, but unfortunately they didn't address any issues, which is a bit unfortunate. But we kind of go with the flow and just keep going on. But yeah, as they go across the line, we've got 40 seconds to go. So we, as I write this, it'll be 30 seconds.
So leading the way, meat and cheese pie ahead of the winner, the double winner, Rick Green for the Triple R Motorsport, represented by Trailblazers Esports. In second place, Isa Renegade, moving himself up into third place. So he's had to show some good early pace this evening, so he'll hope to keep that form up. But as we get themselves for the final time through Ascari, will he be able to go green or purple on his sectors? We'll find out at the end of the session. Flyboarding is the next car. In fourth, didn't have the best first lap, so he'll be wanting to make sure this second lap is his best. Gordon 69, holding on into fifth place. Tormentor in sixth. Ben Stick, the first of the Honda NSXs, in seventh, and then Kamari Kid GP in eighth place. But coming towards the line, we see Meat and Cheese Pies does improve. He's a 1 minute 40.4, so he's got himself a really good comfy margin there. Renegade has come up there only by 0.075 close behind him, so very good showing by Renegade. What about Gordok 69? Only can get as high up as fourth place. Rick Green coming through to the start-finish line very soon. Fingers crossed he might be able to get himself pole position. Will be able to get a double pole position, back-to-back pole positions. No, he doesn't. So he just improves, but he doesn't get pole position. So it looks like advantage is going to Meat and Cheese Pie for Steel City MSR ahead of Renegade and Rick Green in the top three.
Yeah, that's very surprising there. I'm actually pretty proud there for Renegade. It looks like he might have done a bit of practice and a bit of work through the week there, but he's definitely pulled some mysterious time there out of that Nissan, as he just gets absolutely pummeled by Nightmare. And yeah, that's pretty good showing there by Nightmare as well. Obviously, people don't know she's Benjo's sister. It is her what would be debut for Trackstars. So she's allotted to race in TS3 just to get some kind of experience, as she's never done any league racing. So we let anyone race and anyone have experience. So it's really, we don't turn anyone back as such. We let everyone race until you kind of don't follow the rules and regulations, and then we'll assess the situation. But yeah, no, she's come along for the ride with Trackstars to see what she can do. So hats off to her for giving it a go. I'd say that much.
Absolutely. So it's a very good drive there from Isa Renegade. Obviously, just hanging around back in last place, but obviously for her it's going to be a big learning curve just to see what the drivers ahead can do. And obviously we know DJ Monza can be very notorious for that first sector, the first chicanes, the Retifilia and then Della Roggia chicane. So it's going to be very hard to see how the front guys can actually execute that first sector, because once they execute that first sector and there's no scratches on their car, they're probably going to just run away with a win or even get a chance to be on the podium.
Yeah, obviously, I think turn 1 and 2, as you know yourself, even on the first lap, turn 4 and 5 there in the second chicane as well, it can definitely be a bit of a race-defining moment, whether or not you'd be... oh, of course no one can see each other, so I need to fix this out. Give me 1 second.
That's all right. I'll just keep going as you sort that out. But yes, we are here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Obviously, Monza throughout its long and storied history has been known for its high-speed, simplistic nature, thanks to its 1920 design of the bankings around the outside. We're basically going through the old section where it was just the whole oval section of the old days in Formula One, from the 1920s all the way up through to the 1960s, where they actually reintroduced, or they introduced the infield section, you can call it, which is what we see today. Obviously a lot faster back then with cars that had no safety around it, but now throughout its whole stages into the 1990s is where we saw chicanes put through to turns 1 and 2, the Retifilia chicane and then the Della Roggia chicanes down in 4 and 5. So it is a very fast track, and obviously it consists of a lot of straights and tight chicanes, putting on a premium with good braking stability and traction, as we saw some drivers are really struggling to get the cars down with traction, DJ, especially with these big V8s.
Yeah, these beautiful, nice V8s. They're hard to get the power down, but if you can, they definitely pay for it. I always love the sound of these TS3 cars. They're just, it's so peaceful on the ears, and it's just, yeah. I want to see if I could race TS3 all the time. I would. These cars are just beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. I did a little bit of midweek practicing with my team in these cars, and I just said, man, I love these cars. Like, there's nothing I see more excitement than driving these cars on a track at full pace. Obviously, the balance of performance with no tuning makes it just a whole lot more fun, I guess, in a sense. And me as well, just trying to help my teammates out, trying to extract some pace in the two Nissans and the one Lexus that we had. Unfortunately, that we were gonna debut this time round, but unfortunately for Oxcrow, could not get his access onto the PlayStation. So it is what it is. But we've got one Lexus driver in Ice Nightmare, so fingers crossed she might like the sound of that car when she goes around for the first lap of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Cars Championship for round 2, as we get these guys going at least past the first sector, and hopefully they might be able to get their lap times reset, and then we can get our race underway.
Yeah, as long as it works in history, they should auto
Yeah, it looks
assign
like
them when they
right.
go past sector 1. So that's just the main thing that we're just trying to do. Yep, it's working out.
Yeah, looks like it's doing that right now, which is perfect. So I believe once everyone goes through, which I think the last one is Nightmare, then we can get the race underway. Just gone past 10 past the hour. We're a little bit behind, but fingers crossed with a quick race and a clean race for the opening lap, we might be able to have a classic here at Monza. So fingers crossed everyone's clean around turn 1. Obviously, people that are watching the stream, if you haven't followed us already, do hit the subscribe and follow us on all socials through Facebook, through Instagram, and even join our Discord if you feel like having a race with us at Trackstars Racing Series as we get ready for the round 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. Round 2 here for the TS3 Touring Cars Championship here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. It is Mean Cheese Pie in the Steel City MSR ahead of ISA Renegade, 575 for ISA Racing. It is lights out, green flag racing. Looks like Renegade's got himself the perfect start. Mean Cheese Pie goes from pole all the way down to 3rd place. So advantage goes to Renegade in the ICE Group Racing Nissan GTR with Rick Green in 2nd place. We're going to have to make sure these guys can execute the first corners here. Oh, looks like a few bumps in here everywhere and a few cars being reset around the track there. My goodness, what a chaotic start, DJ. But I think the one car that's got away with it all is Renegade in 1st place.
Yeah, that was a massive mess, but my little Tweety bird in the back of my head felt like something was going to go wrong tonight, because it's Monza. What do we expect? Nothing less than at Monza. Oh, cowboy, Rick Green. Gentlemen, calm down. It's only the first lap. Oh my lord, boys.
I did let you know that I did say that first part was going to be very tricky, especially that first chicane there. And obviously for Mean Cheese Pie, he's not very happy. He's all the way down in 10th place after starting in pole position. So not where he wanted to be on the opening lap here for race 1 for round 2 of the TS3 Championship. So he will be very frustrated with that. But so far, leading the way, it is Renegade in 1st with Rick Green and Triple R Motorsport in 2nd place. Ben Stick 7, who's making his debut this year in the TS3 Touring Cars Championship in the Hondas. So the first of the Hondas in 3rd place. Cowboy in 4th. Kamara Kid in 5th. And Fly Boarding, who I believe caused that massive pileup. I think he was the instigator of what that turn 1 pileup was. But we will have to go back and look at the race replay.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that. We'll review all that. Obviously, we do have an incident report form, but because it is Monza, the stewards do look at turn 1, even if there are no incidents submitted, and we do hand out penalties. It's just a regulation that we do. We do it through all series. That was something brought in, obviously, to try and eliminate people taking out half the field, if in some cases the whole field. So looks like lap 2 they've gone through pretty cleanly, so they decided to use their brakes this time rather than other cars. So it's
lap two is so easy on any track, but I guess at Monza you gotta wait until like lap 2, lap 3, and then you say, well, I'm away from this guy and I want to be able to drive away as quickly as I can. So I think, well, these guys have got themselves underway. Obviously, me and Cheese in 10th. We got Ice the Nightmare hanging around the back in 11th place. Ooh, a bit of a half spin there, so it's learning curves for her. So fingers crossed she might be able to learn from this. And as the season goes by, we can't wait to see what her progression will look like. But lap 2 at 9, Renegade is just eking that margin out a fair bit over Rick Green, the double winner from round 1 at Dragon Trail Seaside, is hanging on into second place, the championship leader. So funny enough, DJ, all drivers that won Dragon Trail were actual double winners of the whole night. So it was pretty good. We didn't get to see a different winner.
Yeah, from you saying that, now we're thinking of it, we had obviously Rick Green in TS3. Then we had, I can't remember his name.
Captain Muffin.
Captain Muffin, that's right, in TS2. And then we had Speedy in main series. So, yeah, a lot of double winners there. But I think it was, what was it? It was a Nissan, Honda, Nissan. So I wonder when the Lexus is going to come through for a win. So that'll be something, fingers crossed there. But obviously we did have Roses putting out some pretty solid pace there at Seaside. But unfortunately, made a couple of mistakes and fly boarding going for a bit of a move here on bend stick, but can't get that stick. But yeah, so put it in the wall there, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah.
You got a little bit of very unlucky on that last little bit there. I think it was like flat 4 and 5, like he was going cleanly. He was just pulling away from everybody else, and then all of a sudden he just collects the wall and the chicane of death, and yeah, that just ruins your race with light damage and all. It just doesn't work, doesn't help until the car repairs itself at least halfway onto that main straight going into that first chicane there. As we see a driver go off, that is Cowboy, has run a bit too wide through the De La Roggia chicane. Obviously must have made a big mistake into going into turn 4 and 5. Maybe just clipped the curbing there, we're not too sure. But so far, Renegade is still holding that 6.1 second lead over Rick Green in second place. Ben Stick doing a nice solid job on his debut outing in TS3 in third place with Flyboarding right behind him. Will he be able to go for a move on the inside and through Ascari? No, he doesn't. He shows the nose, but he's not there yet, DJ. I'm not so sure if that's one of the best overtaking spots around this track.
No, it's definitely one that you don't want to try and do a late dive on. Obviously, it can be done, but it needs to be done so that both cars are in full. Oh, just
oh, Camaro just shoves the nose in there, just trying to say Flyboarding, hey, you want to have a go at Ben Stick, just bring me into the party as well. So these guys are fighting out for sheep stations, DJ. Obviously the battle for third place, and then you've got the cars behind them who are trying to close in as quickly as they can to try and catch up. So look at that, we've got themselves a good pack there. Man Cheese Pie is coming through the order, just trying to recover of what he can after getting that pole position, that beautiful pole position lap that he set up. But SS Boy looks like he might be out braking him. He just does, and he keeps that car ahead of Meat and Cheese Pie. So very nice braking there from SS Boy, hanging around in 7th place. He also had a very good showing in round 1, DJ SS Boy from Motorsport Network Racing. He managed to get himself pretty high up as Kamara Kid looks for an inside move, and it looks like he's made that cleanly. Or Ben Stick try to go do the same thing as what SS Boy does. So maybe the Honda has better brakes compared to the Nissan.
I think in the Epson it does. I wouldn't say much in the 16 car. I know they said the 16. I know in main series it's really, you got to drag the brakes for a long time. I do think that's possibly got to do something with the 850, 840 horsepower that we have under the bonnet. So maybe that's not ideal, but I was testing the TS2 car with its racing, and I'll tell you what, mate, it's so much better of a car. Boys, settle down. Nice.
Oh. Just shoves off Flyboarding. We'll be able to redress that. We'll wait and see. It doesn't look like it's going to redress this.
Yeah, I do think coming into there, Flyboarding did give Ben Stick a bit of a touch up on the end, which gave him made the car a bit taily. So I think that's kind of a bit of a repercussion of that, and just trying to get back on the track. But we'll have that looked at anyway. Obviously, if they do some new reports, but yeah, so. The TS2 car is very much more delightful to drive than the main series car. Oh, something's happened here with Renegade. He's lost 5 seconds, so he's done a 45.5. So he's lost 5 seconds in that 5-second gap he had.
Yeah, literally 5 seconds over Rick Green. So
yeah,
he must have made a mistake coming into this second section here, either through the chicane or through the Lesmo, or even through a Sky. We just don't know. But yeah, he's lost a lot of time, and Rick Green's going to be piling the pressure on the ISA driver in Renegade 575 there. So we'll keep an eye on that battle very closely, as we've got those two up in first and second. Kamara Kid has finally made that move on Ben 67. Oh, as we say that, Ben Stick goes around full 360, gets a little bit too happy on the throttle there, and that drops it all the way down from fourth place, or was looking at potential third place, DJ, all the way just into the 10 there. So that's not what Ben Stick wanted on his debut race.
Yeah, certainly not. And I think you know as well as myself, if you hit one of those sausage curbs too hard, then you're unless you can get a hold of the beast machinery that these things are, they can just go a bit of a whoop-de-doop on you. But at the moment, it's looking. That's how tight the field is. You know, you make one mistake and you drop from all the way from the front all the way down to the back. But yeah, it's not too bad here. And
I will give honourable mention to Isa Nightmare. She set herself a 1:45.1, and the fastest lap is a 40 point flat from Rick Green. So she's doing herself pretty good to be at least within the pace, obviously, for a TS3 driver, and she's doing herself a really good job. So fingers crossed as the laps go by and as the next race comes around. Obviously, she might be able to get herself quicker, maybe into the 44, 43. So we'll have to wait and see.
She did actually just go 2 tenths faster through that sector, so we may see her do a 1:44. So.
Nice. It'll be very good to see her progression throughout the whole series, but now Renegade's just kind of stretching that gap a little bit, so maybe it looks like Renegade might have some better traction in that first chicane, which is very important, because when you get traction out of that first chicane through the Retifilio turns 1 and 2, it's really important. It helps the car you can actually plant that power down a lot faster than what the car can do behind, and that'll gain you at least about 3-4 tenths coming into the second chicane.
Yeah, I think as well, even wind direction as well. They do have a tailwind coming out of turn 2, so the wind may help in that regard. But yeah, it looks like Renegade might be a bit confident through the mid-speed corners here than what Rick Green is, because he's pulled that out to 1.1 seconds there. So it was 1.3, so he's lost a bit of time. But yeah, Renegade's got a lot better drive there than Rick Green, so he's pulled nearly a tenth out of that last chicane there.
So that second section belongs to Rick Green. Obviously, he's able to find some time compared to Renegade, but coming through to the Parabolica, he's losing time there, and he just can't find the traction while Renegade can. Like, I don't think the tyre wear difference is any different between those two drivers, obviously being the balance of performance and no tuning aspect behind it. I don't think that would have helped out. It won't help him out, as we see, as Isa Nightmare has just had a bit of a spin coming onto the exit of the second Lesmo, so that's a bit of hard luck for her. But yeah, but obviously that second section, Rick Green is very strong. Obviously he can carry a little bit more speed, but just where those traction zones are very heavily dependent on the driver's ability to actually go. Oh, as Meat and Cheese Pies goes late on the brakes there going to turn 1. Spooking flyboarding there. He's going to go for a bit of a switchback move. Will he be able to get an inside run on flyboarding? No, he doesn't, but actually he opens it up. And there we go, Meat and Cheese Pie comes through onto the inside. Will flyboarding be able to hold around the outside? I don't think so. I think the inside is the faster line going in to the Curva Grande, going into the Della Roggia corner. So will flyboarding contest this, or will he back out? It looks like he will back out. It'll drop down to 7th, and Meat and Cheese Pie goes up into 6th.
Yeah, it looks like Meat and Cheese Pie is on a real charge here. So maybe that first chicane shambles has really made him tighten the belts and tighten the helmet and just say, alright, I can fight my way back through this field and let me see if I can get up to the front of the pack, because he's at the back of this pack, and third place is
and Kamara Kid is right there. Yeah,
Kamara
he's literally right there.
Well, so you'd say 2 seconds in front, so he doesn't really have much to go with 2.5 laps to go. So it's it could be really the third step on the podium could be anyone's at the moment, but
yeah, absolutely right. And Kamara Kid is not even getting close to Rick Green's time or Renegade's time, so he's actually holding himself up losing a bit of time. And 1 minute 42 is his fastest lap compared to Gordok's probably 1 minute 41. There you go. So yeah, obviously we know Gordok to be a really fast driver no matter what car he drives. And he's been showing that in the Formula 2 season. Last time out, DJ, his pace in that Formula 2 car was really good, but his teammate, Tormenta, coming through onto the inside. Are they going to play team orders here? It looks like they're not going to play any team orders there and let Tormenta go through and have a challenge on Kamara Kid. Obviously, looks like Gordok has had a bad run. He's also had a bad run there, DJ, and he's actually holding his teammate up. He can't find a way through, and that's going to open up the chance for Meat and Cheese Pie to go around the inside or outside coming into the Della Roggia corner. So we'll be able to get close enough as he gets into the slipstream, tucks into the slipstream off Tormentor and Gordok 69. He's not close enough. He's up purple on his lap time, but he just breaks a little bit too deep. He goes and Tormentor's around. Oh, the pressure from Meat and Cheese has cost Tormentor, and obviously that really cost WRT in general, DJ. I think Tormentor was a lot faster than Gordok 69. I think Gordok should have just given that place up.
Yeah, I think in that regard he should have, because the time was kind of Kamara Kid was the slower of the four, and then Gordok, and then Tormentor, and then Meat. So it went faster as you went down the field, but yeah, the pressure from Meat probably got to Tormentor a little bit there, but also being held up by his teammates. So it's a bit unfortunate, but I think at that point you kind of really got to take a little bit step back there.
Oh, that was so close. Gordok nearly took out Meat and Cheese Pie for the third time this race. And my goodness, how did he hold that? How did he not get tangled up there in an accident? Wow, that is incredible. That was very unlucky for Gordok 69. And yeah, his race is just going from bad to worse, holding his teammate up and then making a mistake through Ascari. That's not how WRT wanted to see race one. But coming on to the final lap, DJ, let's look back up to the front. ISA Renegade. It's less than a second now between Renegade and Rick Green. ISA Racing versus Triple R Motorsport. Track Stars versus Trailblazers, the two teams in their two respected leagues. Renegade comes through, runs a bit wide going to the Della Roggia corners. That'll open up for Rick Green to get closer to Renegade, but he's just a bit over a second there. Will he be able to make time through this second section? The first Lesmo, actually done and dusted. He's gained time to the first Lesmo. Coming into the second one, will he be able to go later on the brakes? He does, and he gains time again, DJ. Like I said, Rick Green is a fast driver in that second section.
Yeah, he gained a little bit of time there, but from what I can see, it looked like Rick Green might be short shifting a little bit here, which might not be doing him any favours. We'll just watch him out of here, I think.
He's right. He's close. He has closed up, but it's not going to be enough unless Renegade makes a huge mistake coming into the Curva Barabolica for the last time for race one of the Track Stars TS3 Touring Cars Championship, and it's going to belong to the car 575 from the ICE Group Racing Team. It is going to belong to ISA Renegade 575 from the Nissan GTR, taking the victory for race one of round two of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. So congratulations to the ICE Group Racing Team to be up there in first place with Rick Green 7. Kamara Kid's in third place. Meat and Cheese Pie has actually lost position to Gordok, so something happened on his lap again. So that's a race for him to forget for Meat and Cheese Pie up in fifth place, starting on pole position and finishing in fifth. That's not where you want to end up as a driver.
No, certainly not. You don't want to. You want to try and move up so you want to try and advance from where you qualify, not drop. But obviously, if you are involved in an incident there, it is a bit hard. But then you just kind of got to pull yourself back together and just be like, all right, well, what can I make the best out of this situation? And it looks like he's gone up to fifth place there from dropping all the way down to the back of the grid. So he's done a pretty good recovery there for that and in that regard. But yeah, pretty solid performance there by Renegade. They're getting what would be his first win in Track Stars. So big congratulations there to Renegade. And in saying that, we've got ISR Nightmare. She's done a 44 flat, so she's nearly into the 43. Nice. So she's not too far off the pace.
That's good. Good on her. I'm really happy for her, obviously getting that pace in. But obviously one driver's improving her speed, but the other driver is taking victories. Renegade 575 for the ICE Group Racing Team takes the victory from flag from turn one. Obviously we have to go through that turn one, DJ. He just got the perfect jump that he needed against his competitors and did not get involved in that first lap melee. And he actually fielded the gap by about 3-4 seconds on that first lap.
Yeah, that was, I think, pretty solid start there by Renegade, but then he makes that little tiny mistake. And as I said to you earlier, you make one mistake and you can drop from the front all the way to the back. He made a little mistake and he dropped 5 seconds. So that gap that he pulled out to Rick Green, he just lost it within realistically one incident. So we'll let's just wait and see what race 2 holds. So I wonder if they'll clean it up a little bit for turn 1 in race 2. But we'll give them a 5-minute break here just so they can get a bit of a break in between their qualifying, so we can just kind of talk about the series and all that kind of jazz. So, but we got Tormentor saying we need damage on. Sorry, mate, you guys are in TS3. We're not going to punish you guys that bad by giving you damage as well as trying to handle these beasts of cars. So. But speaking of beasts of cars, I'll take my NSX around for a spin, eh?
Let's see how you go handling that NSX. Obviously in the hands of the M&R boys in Benstick, Cowboy and SS Boy, getting their Honda NSXs around this track. But as we go, maybe you can do an onboard DJ. See if you can see how you go with an onboard cockpit cam. Yeah. Now we put you through it.
It's a lot different to what would be on. Yeah, see how it moves around with the camera. It's a lot different to what GT Sport was, but also not being able to listen to the car and how the car's going off is kind of gone off what would be would be instinct as well too. But yeah, no, it seems a lot different. Oh, the car brakes a lot earlier than what my main series car does, so I can go a little bit deeper on the brakes there.
So executing that turn 3/4 to La Rogia, so. It is obviously you are behind the car of the Honda NSX Epson 2008 model. Obviously, you've compared it differently to your 2016. So he goes for a 360 around there. Oh, nearly kept it out of the barrier there. But obviously, you can notice a big difference between the 2 cars that you're driving currently.
Yeah, it's a lot. The aero is probably the main thing. It's just got obviously, I'd say. Less aero in this thing, obviously being the smaller wing, but also the handling physics of it being the MR still as well, but the aero package is a lot different. You can see here by the wing and the aero package, the wing, the front bar, the whole general shape of the car is different too. So it's just, and able to brake later. This thing you can brake pretty solidly on the brakes here. So I think the Honda is it's just so fun to drive because you've got to really manhandle it and you've got to just kind of send it into the corners. So it's definitely something you kind of got to get your head around when driving.
Exactly right. So as he comes down through to the turns 1 and 2, Reticilio chicane here, just try and clip the right side and then try and see if you can get near that sausage curve onto turns 2 and then just try and, it's all about hugging that inside line through Curva Grande turn 3, so this is where drivers just get a bit of a breather, try and plan their braking zone here because it is very tricky with all these trees and shadows. They're just finding your perfect braking zone just to execute that, and then coming through to the Della Roggia, cut the inside on the left, try and clip the sausage curve on the right, which you've done very nicely there, DJ, and then coming through to the first Lesmo, turns 6 and through to the second Lesmo and turn 7. You can run just a bit wide there and stay on that green stuff, but run a bit too wide and obviously you'll be on the gravel on the left hand side. Same with this one as well. You can get onto that green stuff, but again as well you don't want to run too wide, otherwise the gravel is calling your name. Coming down through to the bridge where you go under the old banking of Monza, and then coming in through to Ascari. Just try and keep the car within the track. Obviously don't run the curves too much because the car will unsettle itself, especially going into that long right-hander. And then onto the last corner of Curva Parabolica. It's an easy section just to get yourself around, but it is very tempting to run wide and lose traction there as you do, as that can happen and the car will spin out or will lose a lot of traction through that corner. Coming through to the line, DJ, you set yourself a 1:42, so
put me in TS3, mate.
Probably not the best lap for you. I mean, probably the boys will be roasting you and tell you to go down and race TS3.
Why not, mate? I'll run TS3. I'll run TS3 with these guys, but that's no practice too. I don't know how the brakes are and
Yeah.
stuff, mate. I got to brake a lot earlier than that in my car. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of
You
go with the flow. So
you may have to change the settings because you did set a lap time there. So
I did, I did. I will have to change it. Of course we do. And we'll go to S2. We'll change it, and then we'll redo it again. But yeah, the '08 cars are so much different to the 16, even the Nissan as well. It's just, I don't know, for being even in the same category, they're a lot different than each other. So it's just kind of, I guess that's what you would class as being the different car having different like handling and all that kind of stuff. So it's good to see.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, obviously cars will have a strength and weakness, whether it's all about one car having a straight line advantage over the other one. I feel like, I guess in a way, the Honda in the '08 cars have that edge when it comes to straight line. I think only just ahead of the Nissans and the Lexus. So it is very tight of who can get that straight line speed as we get ourselves underway for Q2, the second part of qualifying here for TS3 touring cars for round 2 of the championship here at Autodromo Nazionale Monza. But we are about to go green flag for quali, and we shall get ourselves another pole position, either a new pole position winner, or we might have the same driver in meat and cheese pie, DJ.
Yeah, it's definitely going to change up now how drivers assess the situation. It is obviously new for me, as it is for everyone else. So they're going to be straight out of qualifying into the race. So it's going to be, as I said, essentially a two-lap qualifying dash. So if you make 2 mistakes on both your laps, then you can kind of kiss your lap goodbye. But yeah, it's going to be interesting for the rest of the season, I think. Until they obviously can bring in the sorting allocations and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So yeah, obviously, if that's the case, then I mean I don't mind it. Like obviously we'll wait and see how the end of the night goes, and if drivers actually like, the 2 format qualifying, then we might even keep implementing that. I mean if it works out and drivers like it and they want to have that second bite of the cherry of getting pole position, then I say why not. So we'll wait and see how the drivers react. But as we get ourselves through qualifying, obviously meat and cheese pies, the previous pole position place taker for race 1. Obviously not, his race didn't go well in that last one, only ended up in 5th place after starting pole position. So only way up for him, like you said, DJ, is up, and hopefully a victory and another pole position for meat and cheese pie. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I guess, would you try and, I'd think I'd either try and put it on pole or put it on, say, P2 or 3 in this aspect, so you're not kind of really hit the front. But it's a bit odd how it works that obviously in real life you have pole position on the inside of turn 1, obviously to give you that inside advantage where you're actually on the outside of turn 1 here. So it's a bit unfortunate because you are on the, well, it would be the clean side, but then same thing, you're on the outside. So it's a bit confusing, but
it is a zigzag track gridded start. So basically, you do have an advantage over second place there. As we see, Nightmare run a little bit too deep there, and yep, just gets reset onto the track. Hopefully, she might be able to get out of the way of other drives that are coming through. But yeah, it is a bit of a jagged grid slot. So obviously, we saw back in 2021 the start that Daniel Ricciardo had starting in P2. In that after that sprint race on the Sunday, he came from 2nd to 1st, and he actually got himself ahead of Verstappen and managed to go on and take the victory in 2021. So yeah, it do have its advantages of taking the inside line. Obviously, it's a bit of a longer run into turn 1 compared to other tracks that we go to, which may have a shorter run. Obviously, I think the next one, I believe, is Fuji. I think that one has a very long run into turn 1, but what we saw, especially with Seaside as well, that was a bit of a chaotic one with that little kink going into the chicane.
Yeah, well, you've got Suzuka as well. We've got the run into turn 1, which is the double right-hander. That's pretty distinct. I reckon we'll be in 4th or 5th gear by the time you turn 1, so that's another one. It would have been Tokyo as well. Yeah, other than that, I think the long runs into turn 1 kind of really put people off. His Meat and Cheese puts a 39.5, so he's gone.
Wow,
would be faster than his.
Yeah, he's faster than he's pitted at his Q1 lap, absolutely. And Rick Green goes into 2nd place. Gordok 69 comes through into 3rd place. Fly Boarding's moved up into 3rd place now with a 1 minute 41 on his lap. So wow, that's a statement for Meat and Cheese Pie to say that, you know what, I've had a bad race in that one, but I'm still the fastest driver out of all of you guys.
Yeah, and being the fastest driver and putting it on the front row, it's kind of a bit of a, what I'd say like would kind of be a bit of a bragging rights there, saying, yeah, look at me, I put this on the front row. And yeah, we got Renegade
in the place. So it looks like we might have our top 3 the same as what we had in race 1, DJ. I think Renegade was 2nd place and Rick Green was 3rd. So I believe, yeah, if things stay as they are, come onto this last final 30 seconds, then yeah, we might see Meat and Cheese Pie take pole position again, unless Rick Green or Renegade could try and see if they can get themselves into the 39s, or maybe even make it into a low 39. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, well, Nightmare's gone, not Nightmare, sorry, my apologies. Renegade's gone 0.2 faster, so we'll see what he can do as Rick Green's
he ran a little. Yeah, sorry, I was just about to say he ran a little bit too deep there in the Della Roggia chicane, so he might lose a little bit of time going into the first and 2nd Lesmo. So coming through to the final lap, does Meat and Cheese Pie improve? No, he doesn't, so he still stays in the 140s. Rick Green does, he improves his time, but he's not into the 39s yet. What about Fly Boarding coming on through to the start-finish line? No, he can't improve his lap time either. So it looks like advantage goes to Meat and Cheese Pie unless Renegade can find some sort of way to improve himself and get into the 39s, but I don't think he's right there. He's about 0.5 down in Sector 2, so like I called it, that deep braking into Della Roggia and through the Lesmos really hampered his progression. So it looks like he'll be starting 3rd place. So far advantage again. Another double pole for Meat and Cheese Pie for Steel City MSR DJ. So obviously the quickest man on the track, but hopefully this time round for him, for his sake, he might be able to execute turn 1 a lot cleaner than what he saw in race 1.
Yeah, hopefully he can do that, because we know how a bad run into turn 1 ends up. But just flicking through the grid here, look who we've got up here in 7th place.
Oh, nice.
So
1 minute 44.2 for Ice and Nightmare. So that's her best starting position in this round. So very good for her. Obviously 7th out of 10th, and she's done herself a really good job ahead of the M&R boys. And Kamaro Kid DJ, he actually did not set a lap time at all. So he really had a shocking qualifying there, or whether it could be tactical, whether he wants to start in last place and maybe just pick his way through to the field to try and get himself onto the podium at the end of lap 2, lap 3. But we'll wait and see. It's race 2 for TS3 Touring Cars, round 2 for the Italian Grand Prix. So race 2 for the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. Meat and Cheese Pie on pole position. Rick Green, the championship leader, in 2nd place. The winner of race 1, Renegade, behind Meat and Cheese Pie, with Fly Boarding in 3rd and Gordok in 5th. As we wait for those 5 red lights to go out. There's lights out, green flag racing, and Meat and Cheese Pie, again, he hasn't been able to execute that start line procedure, but Rick Green in the number 69 takes the lead ahead of these guys here. So fingers crossed, coming into turn 1, it'll be a lot cleaner than what it was. Yes, it does look a bit cleaner. Renegade, oh, we saw some contact there. Nightmare got punted into somebody there. I don't know who that was. I think that would have been Kamaro Kid or Gordok 69. It was Gordok 69. Oh, contact between Nightmare and SS Boy through to Curva Grande. And my goodness, I know M&R and ISA Racing have a bit of rivalry there, but that's not going to help them. That's not going to help their cause to amend relations.
No, definitely not. Yeah, it looks like Nightmare got punted from the back into turn 1. Like, it all got executed cleanly. I think there was a car up the back that did get into the back, and then it's kind of a bit of a domino effect, which is known to happen here. So it's a bit unfortunate, but it's kind of got to go with the flow. But that's racing for you. So hopefully it can get a bit cleaner from here on. But so far, unfortunately for Meat and Cheese Pie, I couldn't execute that start there. So maybe that might be a bit something you might need to work on for the future races.
That's the second race in a row, DJ. He couldn't get the line. He couldn't get the start of the grid in race 1, and then we saw it again in race 2. But obviously he knows he's a faster driver compared to Rick Green. Rick Green obviously does have that consistency, so we'll wait and see how Meat and Cheese Pie goes, if he can get back that first place. But so far, at the end of lap 1, is Rick Green for Triple R Motorsport in first, Meat and Cheese Pie in second for Steel City MSR, Renegade for the Ice Group Racing Team, and Cowboy hanging up around in 4th place there in his M&R Honda NSX, but he's going toe-to-toe with Tormentor from WRT with a Nissan going around the answer. Will Cowboy be later on the brakes against Tormentor? No, he doesn't, and Tormentor got good brakes over Cowboy, and he moves himself up into 4th place. Oh, as he gets a little bit taily on the exit of the Redsapilio chicane.
Yeah, that's a nice move there from Tormentor, and these guys are keeping it clean in the front, so that's what we like to see. Any clean racecraft is a lot better, so everyone went a lot better into turn 1 at the start of the race there. Obviously there was a bit of contact from some driver. Cowboy runs a bit deep there. So.
Saw a car run a little bit wide there. I think that was Meat and Cheese Pie. Yeah, it looks like I just saw a car veering towards the right hand side on the exit of the Della Roccia corners. That's not where you want to go, DJ. But yeah, it looks like he just got himself a little bit too wide, a little bit too happy on the loud pedal, and that drops him down to 3rd place behind Renegade 575 with Rick Green, about 4.5 ahead of Meat and Cheese Pie. So not the race that he wanted. Obviously coming back from surgery, he had surgery midweek, and he said he wasn't really feeling 100%, but he was going to give it his best shot. But with 2 pole positions after post-surgery, DJ, you'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, certainly, because I know some people can't race and stuff like that, having surgery, or they just might want to just sit back and just watch it go on. But yeah, it's good on him for getting behind the wheel and kind of battling it out there. So as we know, it did happen in real life as well. Obviously Shane V. Gisbergen did it at Sandown, so he had a shoulder reconstruction and stuff like that, and he had some pins and screws and stuff in his shoulder, and he got the overall win at Sandown. So it can be done, but it just depends on obviously the driver and how they're feeling and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, exactly right. But so far, obviously for him, it just not the best start that he wanted, not getting his car off the line from pole position. That's twice in a row for Meat and Cheese Pie, so fingers crossed he will have to work on that as the weeks go by for the Daytona 500 coming up very shortly. Yes, the support categories will be racing on the Saturday evening as well. We'll see TS3 and TS2 racing on those 2 dates as on that evening on the Saturday. So can't wait to see what these boys can do for the Daytona, as well as we've got our Daytona 500, DJ.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one. Obviously I've kind of been summoned in to race it from It's Racing, so I told him, I go, mate, do I have to? And he goes, you're the reigning champion. Yes, you do. So I'll be there, but unfortunately, I don't know if anyone knows this, but it's big news. The current Trackstars Touring Cars Championship in Diswood isn't actually racing the 500, so that's some big news from the paddock there. But he's got some family things that he's got on, so hopefully all the family and stuff like that's all well and good. I do believe it's a birth from his sister, so yeah, it's going to be wait and see who can kind of make truces with each others and see who can push each other to victory. So
yeah,
it's
gonna have to work together.
It definitely will, because obviously in testing and stuff like that, obviously yourself, me and Brando got into a bit of a slipstream and left you behind within half a lap. So slipstream is going to be very key there in Daytona, but also having a bit of lag there and damage to that may also bring into some different specs. But yeah, it's going to be a good season, I think, for these guys. We have a good showing so far.
Yeah, I can't wait. Obviously, Daytona is a little bit different. It's very different compared to what we've had with our Blue Moon Bay 500. Obviously, with the Blue Moon track, you've had to do the braking into turn 1 and a little bit of lifting and coasting through the final corner. So, but this track with Daytona, it's all flat out. So basically, and it doesn't matter what power spec the cars are. You can make it even faster. You can even give them 1,000 horsepower if you want to do, but it'll still be flat out throughout the whole track there. So it'll be interesting to see who can really get their gearboxes tuned up nicely. Especially, I believe that the gearbox will be the key feature, and it will be an interesting side of things of how they can actually, one, save fuel, and two, not overuse the engine.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of factors that do come into the 500, but obviously that will be people, they can do that testing and stuff like that during the week. So we'll wait and see how that goes, because obviously we do have a different running format, because we don't have as many entries as what we did last year. So I do believe we only have roughly, I think we have less than 30 entries. So with the format that we decided to run, I don't think we'll be running that. I think we might just be running basically kind of fastest gets in. So it's a bit unfortunate, but oh, Gordon goes Mr. Toko Drift through the last part of Foscari there. But yeah, that's just, I think we kind of just got to adapt to the situation and go with the flow.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And yeah, obviously it is still early days. We only got ourselves only about 4 more days until the first part of qualifying gets underway on the Thursday evening. So fingers crossed we might even get to see some of the TS3 guys have a bit of a crack and jump in for the running of the Daytona 500. But we're on lap 5 of 9. Rick Green still holds the lead over Renegade in first place, with with Renegade in second, and Meat and Cheese Pie closing up on Renegade in third place, with Tormentor in fourth, and Cowboy holding on very nicely into the top 5 there. So, but this battle pack between Cheese Pie and Renegade is really tightening up, and they are closing the gap to Rick Green. But those two are really holding each other up, and they're not able to get any track advantages on challenging Rick Green for the victory this evening.
Yeah, I think they're kind of. My apologies. Oh, sorry. They are just been a long day.
We tell Broccolilli to mute his microphone, and then there's you.
Well, it would have taken me too long to reach up and mute the mic, but yeah, sorry about that there. But yeah, they're running at about 2.5 seconds, about 2.8. But Rick Green is a little bit slower through this section compared to Renegade, and I just get told differently by the relative there. So he gained a 10th from Renegade too, so I've just been told a lie, but Renegade looks like he's got a bit of a run there. But speaking of runs, I thought Meat and Cheese had one, but unfortunately not. And we got Tormentor just off the back here in 4th place, and then 11 seconds back to Cowboy, who's just done his personal best of a 42.9. We do have Meat and Cheese, who cracked into the 39, Sue, so that's a very fast lap. Oh, Rick Green as well cracked into the 39, so...
Oh, there you go. So Rick Green's finding a bit of pace now in his GDR, so he managed to get himself finally into the 39s of this race. But these guys are really closing up. 2.1 behind Rick Green. DJ, it was about 3 seconds on the previous lap, over 3 seconds on that previous lap. Meat and Cheese Pie's got himself a really good run out of the Della Roggia corners. Will he think of a move going to less than 1? That's not the best place to make a move, especially when you're in the car behind, when you've got a long straight coming up that goes through to Ascari. So he wants to hang back, stay behind Renegade, and just think about making it or executing a move down here through Ascari, or if not, down towards Parabolica.
Yeah, I do think he's a little bit far back. Yep, Renegade is slightly pulling away from him, so he's looking...
I will say that Renegade has closed up on Rick Green there. He was, so if we kept an eye on that gap, it's about 1.5 now between him and Rick Green. 1.9.
It was 1.5, and then it's just gone out to 1.9. So it looks like Renegade lost a bit of time there on the exit of Ascari, but we'll wait and see if he can close that gap through Sector 2. So it's looking like Rick Green's lost a bit of time through Sector 2 in this race, and as I say that, Renegade pulls 2 tenths, nearly 3 tenths on Rick Green through that last section. So all he does PB with a 40.0. So
and Meat and Cheese is holding on to the back of him as well. There, he's actually gaining on Renegade through that onto the main straight as well. So coming to turns 1 and 2, the very onto the Retzfilios, just try and make sure, as we said, you try and clip that inside on the right-hander, then just ride the sausage curves on the outside and don't lose traction on the exit of the Retzfilia chicane, and then coming through to Curva Grande, just hang around that inside line and follow the driver ahead of you. But as we see Cowboy hanging on very nicely there, and Kamara Kid in 6th place, obviously qualified last, he's hanging on in 6th place. But that's not the start. I guess that's not where he wanted to be compared to what his last race was after getting a nice podium for the FR racing team. And obviously this race, this time around, hasn't gone his way.
Yeah, pretty solid drive there from Kamaraki, and probably looking like he stayed out of trouble, and then putting in some pretty consistent laps there. A little bit inconsistent with his times, but he's put in the times where it matters. But he's actually closing up here on Cowboy, so you never know. We may see Kamaraki do a bit of a late charge and pull off a top 5 as Cowboy runs a little bit wide there. That's definitely something you don't want to do. And as I say that, he pulls 6/10 on Cowboy, so that's something. Such a small mistake can prove so costly in the long run. But starting to get into the superior Cowboy, so we'll wait and see what the end of this does here. But who have we got hanging out the back? Oh, we got Nightmare out here. Looks like she's made a bit of a mistake on that last lap with the 155. So a bit unfortunate, but as we said, it's her debut in Track Stars, so she's doing well so far. So yeah, it's good to see.
She is going very well. Obviously, she's got these cars right behind her. Whether they catch her at the end of the race, we'll wait and see. But looks like Renegade is just not able to close up to Rick Green. I think Rick Green's just got a little bit of that advantage over Renegade over this race here for race 2. So Rick Green, who was a double winner at Dragon Trail Seaside, might be able to add to his tally and take 3 wins from 4 races, DJ. So that's an incredible stat for Rick Green in the 69 Triple R Motorsport.
Yeah, and obviously he did have a clean sweep there, and unfortunately he didn't get race 1 victory. It was close, but what else good I was saying? Close but no cigar. So it's been unfortunate that he didn't get it, because then he would have had another clean sweep. So, but I think that'll keep him at the top of the standings if he can hold on to this.
Yeah, that'll definitely keep him up in the standings there. And it just depends who will come out in second place. I believe that second place belongs to I think it was Renegade. I believe he is up into second place in that championship. Can't remember, don't quote me on that, but I believe it is Renegade, and then Meat and Cheese Pie in third. So we might have we do have the top 3 in the championship hanging around the top 3 of race 2 here at Monza. But coming on towards the Parabolica to commence their final lap, it is still Rick Green. He's getting closer towards Meat and Cheese Pie's time there. He's still 39.9. Renegade's not able to crack into the 39s yet, but Meat and Cheese Pie's got himself a really good run compared to Renegade, so he might be thinking of a move towards the start finish. As he says himself, the fastest lap there, another fastest lap of 39.4, so great lap there rented by Meat and Cheese Pie. Will he go for a dive bomb move going into Retifilio, or will he hang it out and just stick behind Renegade? He goes for the wider line just to try and get a nice good cutback and a slingshot. Renegade runs a bit wide going through to the Retifilio. Will set up Meat and Cheese Pie for a nice run going through Curva Grande and the De La Rosiers. What will Renegade do? Will he hang around the inside? Will he defend for the inside line, or will he make Meat and Cheese Pie go in towards the inside? Looks like he's parked it on the middle of the track there, DJ, so looks like Renegade's just able to hold on for second place.
Yeah, so far, but he's still got a couple of corners to go, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that towards the end as we just run through here. And going through the standings, we actually had Fly Boarding in second, Meat and Cheese in third, and Hustle in fourth. Latergator in fifth, Tormentor 6, and Renegade in 7. So this points are actually pretty close between second all the way down to 8th. So it's really anyone's fight at the moment. For the lead of this TS3 Championship, so we'll wait and see how it all pans out.
Absolutely right. So, but no one's been able to challenge Rick Green. Got it off the start line against the Meat and Cheese Pie from pole position. Doesn't get the start that he wants. He's the fastest man, but he's not able to convert a pole position to victory. As Rick Green goes around the final corner for the final time for round 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship for the Triple R Motorsport 69. It belongs to Rick Green in his Nissan GTR, taking the victory, and a beautiful victory for him in first place with Renegade. Another podium and another, basically, I think that'll set him up for, for the overall round win, DJ, I believe. I'm not so sure. We'll have to count back through qualifying, but I believe those guys do go, I believe they are level on points, Rick Green and Renegade, so we'll have to wait and see what their positions are qualifying wise. But Meat and Cheese Pie, it's a little bit very sad for him not to be able to get 2 wins this evening. He was looking the fastest man, he was the fastest driver, amongst the TS3 field there, but just couldn't convert and just got in the wrong place, wrong time, especially race 1.
Yeah, obviously unfortunate there, but as they say, that's racing, and Rubik's racing, but...
Absolutely.
See,
Yeah,
I muted my mic that time.
I was about to say, you went a bit quiet there, and it's just
Yeah.
like, he's muted his mic. Perfect. But yeah, no, then we see SS Boy, and then we see Nightmare crossing the line. I believe was she a lap down on that one?
No, they nearly lapped her, so it looks like she made a
Okay.
couple of mistakes, but yeah, they didn't lap her, so she's still on the lead lap, which is good there. So she didn't get lapped or anything like that. So it's pretty solid outing there for ISI Nightmare. But yeah, congratulations to Renegade and Rick Green for taking out the race wins. But I do believe if it was me, I would do the overall fastest qualifying lap. So we'll have a look on that count back anyway, and we'll wait and see. But for now,
Absolutely.
that's round 2 for the TS3 Championship done.
Absolutely. 2 winners this evening belonging to ISA Renegade 575 for race 1, and then Rick Green for Triple R Motorsport in race 2. Mean Cheese Pie took pole position in both races. Sadly for him, couldn't convert to victories. So we'll wait and see how we go for the Daytona racing that happens next Saturday, not Sunday. On Saturday we go TS3 racing, and then the Sunday will be the big finale, the big event for the Daytona 500. So congrats to those drivers for sticking it out this evening. The format has worked for the 5-minute qualifiers. We've seen two pole positions go towards Maiden Cheese Pie, and we've seen 2 different winners. But that's it, DJ, for TS3 racing. We'll get ourselves ready for TS2 coming up in an hour's time. So on behalf of the TS3 drivers, myself and DJ, we'll see you guys in an hour's time, and you'll see